Today we're seeing what we can uncover walking the streets of Ajaccio, the capital of Corsica. This is as an alternative to the cruise line excursion. Here is a charming Mediterranean city rich in history and culture, famous as the birthplace of Napoleon Bonaparte. It blends colourful old town streets, citadels, vibrant markets and dramatic coastal views. It is a perfect mix of history, culture and natural beauty. So let's explore further.
Good morning and welcome to day 8, and we're in Corsica today at the capital city. No idea how you pronounce it. Ajaccio, something like that. Anyway, it's the birthplace of Napoleon Bonaparte, and we're moored up on the dock alongside the Explorer 2, which looks like a fine ship. I'm going to go off and explore. I think Joanne is going to lounge around in the room because she's decided it's far too hot. Temperature today I think is estimated to be 32 degrees C, so I'm going to have to be trying to walk in the shade. Never been to this part of the Med before, so quite looking forward to exploring and finding out a little bit more. Apparently the architecture is supposed to be quite good, and there's supposed to be some really nice colourful fishing boats, but at the moment I can't see any. Anyway, I'll give you a quick view from the cabin balcony, and then I will shoot off on my way to explore the town.
Apparently this is pronounced Ajaccio, but my chances of actually pronouncing it correctly for the rest of this recording is probably pretty slim. Anyway, disembarkation was super easy, and we found that the last time we were on the Cunard cruises as well. I'm not sure if it's because they're super efficient, or because there's less people getting off the ship, or if their majority are going on shore excursions organised by the cruise line. But whichever it is, it's a welcome change from what we've been used to. So we've now arrived at the port city of Ajaccio, which is on the west coast of Corsica. Indeed, it's the capital and largest city on this French-owned island. It's known for a number of things: its history, its culture, the scenic landscapes, but most of all, it's known as the birthplace of Napoleon Bonaparte. But more about that later. First of all, we're going to explore a bit. At the entrance to the port, there is the usual selection of tourist excursion and activity shops, as well as a small market. This market was typical of what you would find in a tourist location. It sold a selection of souvenirs, as well as the sort of goods that you would require if you were looking around the city and you'd forgotten them. All in all, it was quite a nice experience, and it was on the route to the town centre. One of the first places cruise ships passengers and visitors see when they arrive is Place Foch, a charming and lively square at the heart of the old town, shaded by palm trees. At the centre stands a striking statue of Napoleon Bonaparte in Roman-style attire, with 4 stone lions guarding the base of the monument. The square connects directly into the old town's narrow streets and is perfect for strolling and exploring boutiques and historical sites. It's also home to the town hall, Hotel de Ville, whose huge white clock tower dominates the skyline. Today I'll be walking around the city and just seeing what takes my fancy. First stop would be the Citadel, but en route I spotted this lovely, charming French-style terrace house. Really like that, like the vibe. This Citadel is one of the most important remnants of the city's Genoese past. Built in 1492, at the time when Ajaccio was rebuilt as a fortified town. The citadel was expanded in the 16th and 17th centuries, mainly to strengthen the defences against pirates and other Mediterranean rivals, and for centuries it functioned as a military fortress, controlling the bay and protecting the city, and that included, after French annexation, it's been closed off to the public for most of its life. It's a classic star-shaped fortress with bastions, walls and a moat, which is now dry, and its location at the edge of the harbour and beachfront makes it a photogenic tourist location. It remains relatively modest and compact, unlike other local citadels. In 2005, ownership transferred to the city, and in recent years it has been partly opened up. Today you can walk around the outside walls and seafront entirely for free. Entry to the interior is sometimes possible with guided tours or during special events or festivals. The architecture was interesting. The inside buildings were more modern than I expected, and there was a small bar or cafe with a typical French village feel, as well as a restaurant hidden way at the top. The standout for me was the magnificent views from the walls overlooking the bay. It's generally open from 9 to 8 p.m. on most days, but on Thursdays and Fridays it's open for an hour later. So the plan was to make my way along the seafront to La Cathédrale Santa Maria Assunta. It's a short distance, and the cathedral is just behind the town square that we first visited as we came off the ship. In front of the cathedral there was a small piazza which was absolutely buzzing with diners, and it was still quite early. This is the main cathedral, located in the historic Old Town. A simple yet elegant facade with tall bell towers and a classical Baroque style. It was built between 1577 and 1593 on the site of a previous church. It's a key landmark both architecturally and historically. You will not be surprised to find it has a connection to Napoleon Bonaparte, as he and his siblings were baptised here. The cathedral is dedicated to the Assumption of Mary, a common dedication in Catholic churches. Here, the unique blend of Baroque, Genoese and local Corsican influences combine to create an elegant, striking interior. You will find light-washed walls, gilded altars, beautiful paintings, wood carvings and statues, as well as a magnificent pipe organ mounted high up at the rear, its sound resonating around the space. Simple wooden pews reside on simple patterned tile or stone floors. Some stained glass panels depict biblical scenes and saints. The main altar is adorned with religious artworks, including paintings from the Italian schools. Several smaller chapels along the aisles are dedicated to local saints or the Napoleonic family. They contain statues of saints, ornate altars and devotional paintings. All in all, a fantastic cathedral full of Mediterranean charm. Now, to continue my exploration around the bay, I plan to head towards the gigantic Ferris wheel I can see in the distance, for no more reason than it looks interesting. The route continued along the old coastal road, taking in some interesting architecture, the odd monument. Ajaccio seems to have an abundance of these at various locations, as well as some absolutely superb sea views as I walked on my way. Whilst it doesn't really look it here, there was quite a wind blowing which made some nice respite from the hot sun. Made the walking a lot better than it had been. We're now a lot closer to that Ferris wheel, not far to go. It does make a really nice walk though, one that I would highly recommend. On the way to and near the giant Ferris wheel, I found the skate park, and I rather like some of the graphics and illustrations on the skate park ramps. Once again, Napoleon pops up for his fans. It did have a prime position though, overlooking the bay, giving you an absolutely incredible view. It was just unfortunate that on the day I visited, it wasn't being used. This part of town has a considerably different vibe to the old town that we were in before. Modern box-like buildings going along the street. A couple of streets back from these buildings is some really nice architecture hidden from view for the casual observer. We have now arrived at Place Miot, the location of the giant Ferris wheel. It's a few yards back from the shoreline, and I thought I'd explore the shoreline first before going over to the Ferris wheel. Here the promenade meanders along the coast, protected from the sea by a man-made rock barrier and a small wall. Inland is apparently a public space used for special events. However, on the day I came, the whole area seemed to be a large car park in front of the Ferris wheel. The views here were very good, and there were some sporadic glimpses of interesting architecture. The promenade gave the opportunity for a leisurely coastal walk, and a number of folks were taking the opportunity to do just that. This is La Grande Roue, a 40-metre tall Ferris wheel with multiple semi-enclosed cabins. Each ride, a full rotation, is around 10 to 15 minutes. The ride offers a bird's eye view over the city. You can see the Gulf, the old town rooftops, the mountains beyond, and the sea. This area is the Pelagos Sanctuary. It's a vast marine protected area in the Mediterranean, established to safeguard marine mammals, specifically cetaceans, whales, dolphins and porpoises, and their habitats. It was created through an international agreement between France, Italy and the Principality of Monaco, and it's one of the largest marine protected areas in the Med. It covers international waters between the three countries, approximately 87,500 square kilometres, and the agreement was signed in 1999 but has only been effective since 2002. This was as far as I was going to go. I'd already gone past the boundaries of the map that Cunard had provided me with, and I was now running on my downloaded Google Maps. But there were also some more places I wished to explore, including the monument to Napoleon, and there was also a monument to Napoleon and his brothers. But first of all, the monument to Napoleon. I was quite interested by this old building, and then shortly afterwards I decided that I'd go left and go inland up towards the mountains, up the hill, and make my way to the Napoleon monument, which would be about half a mile in front of me, and it was quite a steep incline which I hadn't expected. We are at the Place d'Austerlitz, a public square. It's also historically known as the Place de Casson, in memory of an old building. On the day that I went, great sections of the square were fenced off and construction work was going on. Fortunately, I managed to pick a route around these, following a dog walker. It's home to a monument to Napoleon Bonaparte, which was installed in 1938. A statue of Napoleon, dressed in the uniform of a colonel in the guard, stands on a granite pedestal, pyramid-like base, which has steps you can climb. There are also some steps around the side. The base is inscribed with his various victories and major achievements. Well, I followed the dog walker around the side of the monument, using the stairs to take me up to the top. The square is built on a sloping surface so that the monument takes full advantage of the slope to give the statue more prominence. On either side of the statue, the stairs have two eagles, which are the symbols often associated with Napoleon or the Empire. According to local tradition, as a boy, Napoleon used to visit this place and would shelter under large rocks. Apparently, there's a Napoleon's cave associated with the story. I never found it. I'm making my way back towards the centre of the town, and the road is absolutely straight and goes downhill, which is fortunate. En route, I passed a number of different architectures. I liked this one, which was a public notary office, but there was also lots of other different styles of architecture. Really nice. Now, I must confess my French is not the best, but if I've got this translation correct, then we're looking at a church that's been repurposed as the National Dance School. Joanne has warned me off of any puns involving dance and graves. It was somewhere around here that I was supposed to find the memorial to Napoleon and his brothers. Now, there was a lot of construction work going on, which sealed off some of the street, but I just couldn't find it. It was either covered up or it had been moved or put into storage or something, but I just could not find the location at all. It didn't take me long to get back to the old town centre, and very enjoyable walk, and quite enjoyed that exploration. Now, the next stop on my list was Napoleon Bonaparte's home, where he was born. So I can look for that. It didn't take me long to locate the Maison Bonaparte. It was obvious by the long queue outside the door. So instead of going in, I decided that I'd actually explore the small garden which had a tribute to Napoleon and that was opposite the house. The Bonaparte family moved into what would become the Maison Bonaparte in 1682, when Napoleon's great-great-grandfather purchased part of the house. The house was partitioned amongst different owners at first, but through marriage and purchases the Bonapartes gradually acquired the full property. Napoleon's father, Carlo Maria, a minor nobility, did the renovations and a lot of the consolidations. During the Corsican political upheavals, including the rebellion and British occupation, the house was looted and the Bonapartes were forced into exile for periods. Napoleon's father actually changed sides to retain his title, and later, after Napoleon rose to prominence, his family, and later Napoleon III, did further restorations. In 1923, the house was ceded to the French state, and in 1967, it officially became a national museum. I'd managed to do most of the things I wanted to do quite quickly, so that now meant that I didn't have a lot stored up in my Google Maps to explore further. So I decided that I'd explore these really colourful streets by following my nose and seeing where it took me, which is one of my preferred ways. The Oratoire Saint-Jean-Baptiste is a historic Catholic chapel built in 1565, originally serving as the seat of the Brotherhood of St. Jerome and St. John the Baptist. They managed the local hospital for the poor. It's also claimed that several members of the Bonaparte family were baptised here. After the French Revolution, when the church lost the property, it was repurposed as a ballroom and performance hall, but was restored as a place of worship following the 1801 Concordat that Napoleon negotiated. Was quite small in comparison to some of the other churches. It's still very grand and with the same type of Corsican charm that we saw in other buildings. So I continued to follow my nose up one of the main thoroughfares, and I arrived at some majestic iron gates with a security box to one side. This is the Palais Lantivy, a distinguished neoclassical palace constructed between 1826 and 1830. It was commissioned by Gabriele de Lantivy de Caravino, who served as the prefect of Corsica, and that is the highest representation of the French national government that you can get. These days it primarily functions as a government building. The neoclassical style continues further up the street at the Église Saint-Roch. Designed by a local architect, construction began in 1885 and it took a whole 38 years to finish. The church has a symmetrical facade and refined detailing. Due to space limitations and budgetary constraints, the original design was simplified during construction, leaving the facade and bell tower incomplete for many years. The church is dedicated to Saint Roch, the patron saint of the sick and plague victims. Inside, the smooth, pale walls reflect the natural light that filters through the windows, creating an airy and serene feel. Fluted pilasters line the nave at regular intervals, framing side chapels and niches. Modest decorative mouldings and friezes painted in subtle tones complement the overall calm aesthetic, and several religious paintings and icons adorn the walls. In the side channels, small altars are set into the walls, each featuring statues of saints or framed devotional paintings. In addition to its religious role, it's celebrated for its exceptional acoustics, making it a prime venue for Corsican polyphonic concerts. Apparently, the resonant sound enhances the richness of the performance. So, I've got plenty of time, but I felt I ought to probably return to the ship, and I cut through a narrow side street in order to get there. And then I found this building. Or to be more exact, I was drawn to the lovely interior, where you could see that there was some superb statues. So I decided to investigate further. Welcome to the Bibliothèque Fesch, founded in 1801 by Napoleon Bonaparte. That's Napoleon's brother. It began with a collection of around 13,000 books, many of which were acquired from Corsican convents and confiscated during the French Revolution. The library was officially inaugurated in 1850 and is recognised today as a historic monument. Its main reading room is an impressive 30 metres long, 9 metres wide and 10 metres high, and it's richly decorated with walnut woodwork, shelving and tables. It's like something out of Harry Potter, only a bit lighter. Currently the library houses around 40,000 works, including some 220 medieval manuscripts and 25 early printed books, making it one of the most important heritage collections in Corsica. Earlier this year it underwent extensive restoration to safeguard its historical integrity and retain it for future generations. Next door is the Palais Fesch, founded by Cardinal Joseph Fesch, the maternal uncle of Napoleon Bonaparte. A cardinal and Archbishop of Lyon, Fesch amassed a vast collection of artworks during his lifetime. He envisioned creating an Institute of Arts and Science in his hometown, Ajaccio, a dream that was realised posthumously. Upon his death in 1839, he bequeathed over 17,000 works of art to the town. Construction of the Palais began in 1827, being completed in 1837. Well, there's a lot of interesting things going on at this street. Just down the road from the Palais is the Chapelle San Rucchellu. Built at the end of the 16th century, this chapel was originally linked to the local devotional practices and the charitable activities of the confraternity. The site is historically significant for community worship and processions, especially during feast days of Saint Roch and Saint Sebastian. Whilst over the centuries the chapel's been restored and preserved, including extensive renovations led by the Confraternity Association, formed in 2000, the work is ongoing. The chapel has experienced issues such as water infiltration and has inadequate electrical installations which pose safety risks to both visitors and the building's integrity, although it's still open. Additionally, the lack of fire extinguishers and other safety measures has been a concern during events held at the chapel. These factors have prompted the local authorities to initiate restoration efforts to preserve the chapel and ensure public safety. Turns out that this small side road that I was on actually leads directly into the main shopping area, and it was really bustling. As well as the retail shops, you had cafes and other establishments. Anyway, I wasn't going to stop. I'm going to make my way back to the port now. I was pleased to come across this street art of a famed Dutch tattoo artist, Henk, and his wife Louise. The mural is about life dedicated to tattoo, art, lovers, inspiration, and many things words can't describe. I actually found a YouTube time-lapse showing it being painted. It was incredible. We're almost back to where we started, in another square situated behind the town hall. This square underwent a major urban redevelopment project which was completed in 2019 As part of that, the Corsican War Memorial, erected in the 1920s to commemorate the immense loss of over 12,000 soldiers that Corsica suffered in World War I, was restored and reinstalled here. So all in all, I had a very enjoyable walk around Ajaccio. There is a lot to see and do, and I was able to do it at my pace and according to my priorities. Whilst the cruise excursions were not particularly expensive, I don't feel that I would have seen as much of the city as I did doing my own thing. It did need a bit of planning, but the combination of ChatGPT and downloaded Google Maps made that a lot easier these days.
We've just left port and are leaving Corsica and making our way over to Sardinia, where we're going to arrive tomorrow. Had a really nice walk around Corsica. I took in lots of different churches and cathedrals. I went to the Citadel, which was very nice. I walked along the front, took in the beaches that were there, went up as far as the big wheel and a little bit more, and then I tried to find the memorial to Napoleon and his brothers, but I completely failed to find it. They seem to be doing a lot of work there, and I can only assume that actually it got covered up whilst they were doing the work. There's some really nice houses, you'll see them on the film, but they're lovely houses as you go along, and lovely government buildings as well. You know, all of them with a very individual flavour, very individual styling, very typical of a Mediterranean city. Anyway, I made it back to the ship on time, got back about 3 o'clock, on board time was 4:30, and we've just been relaxing on the deck and are now getting ready to go for our dinner. Don't know what we're going to do this evening. There's a couple of things that we quite like to see. Don't know if we had to book for them, but we'll see.
So I've got the fried cauliflower and spinach. Really nice. Lovely.
I've got a
They're not in the shell.
crab,
Not in the shell.
crayfish and caviar salad with jelly. This is nice.
Good.
Very nice.
Asian broth with chicken and sweet corn, it looks like. That's how you'd think it would taste.
And I've got exactly the same, which hopefully it's nice. Chicken broth and sweet corn.
So I've got the Dover sole with gnocchi underneath, I think. So let's have a bit of that. That. Very, very nice.
Well, I think I've gone to heaven.
That looks like
3
Steve
curries
Evans,
on
isn't it?
3 different days, and then a tandoori lamb chop. This doesn't half look nice. It's lovely.
Good.
Really enjoy that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's certainly getting your money.
You're having the Leccio, brie and cheddar.
Yep, lovely. Thank you.
Oh. Nice cheese selection.
Lovely. Yes, very nice. Lovely.
So I've gone for the honey cake with what looks like a chocolate ice cream. Let's see what this is like. Lovely. Yeah, it's nice. Very, very, very dark chocolate.
Sponge nice.
Yes.
A look in somebody's eyes to light up the skies, to open the world and set it freedom. A voice that says I'll be here and you'll be all
tonight we had a special at the Bright Light Society, and you all know we like the Bright Light Society, and this was an audience, for want of a better description, with James Hammond, one of the performers, where he performed on his own and told us a little bit about his life. It was absolutely thrilling. We didn't have to book, it didn't cost us any money, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. So here's a couple of tasters.
Ooh, do you like My Fair Lady? Yeah. Marvellous, marvellous. So it was a production of My Fair Lady up in the north of England, and there was going to be a cast that was brought over from South Africa, of all places, which was going to be incredible. And the role that I was going to be playing was a first cover. So it would be in the ensemble, but then first cover would be who plays the role if the lead person is sick, that kind of thing, yeah. I have often walked down the street before, but the pavements always stayed beneath my feet before. All at once am I 7 stories high, knowing I'm on the street where you live. Ah, there's some enchanted evening, you may see a stranger, you may see a stranger across a crowded room, and somehow you know, oh, what a beautiful morning, oh, what a beautiful day, I've got a beautiful feeling, everything's going my way. Don't care about expensive things, cashmere coats, diamond rings, don't a thing. All I care about is love, that's what I'm here for. I don't care for wearing silk cravats, rubies to reach the unreachable star. But for my last song, folks, I'm going to sing a song from Les Mis. But I'm going to sing it as he directed me. How's that? So here's Stars. And if they fall as Lucifer fell, the flame, the soul. Stars in your multitudes, scarce to be counted, filling the darkness with water and